Hello everyone, welcome to the GSM's Pride, and it's this week's edition of the Employee Spotlight. This week I have Rachael Roemer with me. She is our Internet Manager slash BDC slash Service BDC. As you can tell from our past ones, we've had many people with multiple roles, and Rachel's one of those. So say hello.
Hello.
So Rachael, how long have you been with the Fuse Network?
Total of 7 years.
7 years.
Yep.
Okay, let's jump back before we start all that stuff. High school. I know St. Louis is a big thing for high school. Where did you go to high school?
I went to Gateway Institute of Technology on Kings Highway in McCree.
Okay. What did you study there?
It was pretty much like nursing and things like that, but I'm too emotional. I get attached to people really quick, so that was just not something that I wanted to go forward
So you
with.
were planning on being a nurse or something like that? Your medical work?
Because I love children. I love the medical. Like, I just think that's awesome that their careers, what they do, but I just can't do it. It's just too emotional for me. So it's just wasn't going to work out.
You always got upset if there's any kids come in or anything like that?
Yes, I get upset with my own kids, so it's like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I can only imagine that. When my son was born, he was born with a hairline fracture, and I had to go to Cardinal Glennon, and I was like, I don't know how you guys
stay calm, and it's okay. I'm like, no, I can't do it.
I was like, how do you guys even deal with this? So,
yep.
But that's a whole different story. So after that, what was it? The car business straight after that?
No, I actually worked at Walmart in their accounting department for a while because I just love numbers.
In the back staff?
In the back, yes.
Really?
Their accounting numbers. So it was interesting. And I just love numbers and math and things like that, so it was just pretty nice.
So let's touch on that real quick. What was working for Walmart like? Because they have a kind of a bad reputation for not really caring about their employees.
Actually,
is that true or not?
No, they do. It's just certain people, like if they don't like when they get fired, they just want to bash everybody else. I did it for 5 years, loved it, and just wanted to do something else, so I moved on.
And that's what I've always thought that, because I've always sat there and thought, they can't be that bad, because they're a massive company.
Right, and the people that you work with are great. I've never had an issue with anybody. They're always super nice. We joke to each other. Like, I'm still friends with a lot of them that I used to work with, so it's nice.
So would you go back?
Me, nowadays, no.
Nowadays?
No.
So after Walmart, what happened there?
I went to banking. I followed my mom's footsteps into banking.
Okay, what did you do there?
I was a head teller for a while, loved it, and then I just wanted to move up, but there wasn't any availability.
Local bank or?
It was like a family-owned bank, so there wasn't really much room to grow, so I just wanted something else where I can grow into another future. And
then was it the car business?
Yes,
okay.
It was the car business, which my dad was in the car business.
Really? Where did your dad work?
So he was a mechanic. He actually worked for our Lou Fuse Saturn dealership.
Oh, really?
Years ago, yes.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's something new. See, that's why we do these things. It's perfect, because I get to learn stuff. So, and I must touch on it, and I hope Shane watches. So, your husband is also in the car business, right?
Yes.
Are you guys insane that both of you work in this industry?
Yes, we very are.
Now, did you meet Shane in the car industry?
Yes, I did.
At Toyota?
No, he was actually at Marty Casilla selling cars there, and I just came back from vacation and wanted to upgrade my current car.
He sold you a car?
Actually, it was my uncle that sold me the car, and then supposedly the rumor is that he liked me, and at the time I gave him my business card. I said, if you want to hang out, here's my card, call me. And he did.
Were you already at Fuse by then?
Not at the time. No, I was still banking at that time.
Shane, what is he doing? So he didn't sell you a car though, so
My uncle actually sold me the car, but yeah, he helped me out throughout the whole time. Yeah.
Okay, well, Shane, if you're watching, I want to know more about that story. That's kind of a funny one. So you met Shane so how long were you dating before you got in the car business?
I want to say it wasn't maybe 2-3 years. So it wasn't that long.
Did he have anything to do with you getting in the car business?
At the time he went back to Zeiser Kia, and then he knew people out there, and then that's when things started going downhill with them. Like Zeiser sold, and then Napleton, the issue there, and then he went to Kia, where he knew Feinstein, and then I asked Feinstein at that time for a job because I just wanted out of banking, and that's when I got into the BDC.
So technically he was responsible for it.
Yes. Knowing people that know people, yes.
So what year did you go to Kia?
Oh, Kia?
Because that was your first Fuse job, right? No?
I was at Nissan. I started at Nissan.
Oh, yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
if you
came
don't know
over.
this, I fired her. Not,
And I'm back.
not directly Rachel. I just closed the BDC.
Right.
There's a difference, and we were selling the company, so there's more to
Yes.
more to it than just me letting them go. So you started at Nissan on
I
the
started
mic
at
then.
Nissan, yes. And
Okay.
then when they closed it, that's when I went to Kia, and I sold Kia for a while up till recently after I had the baby.
So let's touch on something. You've got I don't know if should say quite a few, but also your cousin works for us, correct?
Jessica Jessica Malloy now
Yeah.
works for Lou Fuse also.
She's because she was at Nissan when you were there, correct? Did she have anything to do with it again?
No.
So you have all these family members, but no one had anything to do with it.
I did it on my own.
So what was it like working at Nissan?
I loved it. We had great staff. We had fun. The customers were really great. I enjoyed it. There wasn't nothing that I didn't like. I was really sad that they were closing it, but
Yeah, just so you know, Nissan is kind of a tough manufacturer to deal with. They kind of all they really care about is getting their vehicles on the street. So Fuse they actually took me over there, what was it? I'll say like September, maybe. September of 15.
Yeah.
And we were closing it, and I was told, hey, just go over there and try and get as much market share as you can. Unfortunately for Rachael, we had to cut some costs, and the BDC was pretty expensive, and we didn't necessarily need it. So that was the reason why we got rid of that. And then we closed there in, I want to say like February 16?
February, March, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So then you went to Kia. How long were you at Kia for?
About 4 years total.
And that was, so you start off in Page, and then you were still at Kia when they moved to Creve
when they
Coeur,
moved to Creve Coeur, yeah.
Yep. And you did the same job there, the BDC?
Yep.
You end up being, for a short period, manager in the, should I say, it's call center?
That's what they called it, was a call center, yes.
Because it wasn't just for sales, was it?
No, it was for service, sales, parts, you name it. That's where we took all the phone calls.
Was that a little bit of a difference for you to do?
It was very different because I came in there not knowing what to do or what was going on at the time, because I just came back from maternity leave, and it was just crazy. So I was trying to make it work and progress and things like that, get the team on staff and like what they were supposed to be doing, because they didn't know what they were doing at the time.
So let's bounce back a little bit. I want to touch on something you said, because when I did a laundress spotlight, it's always intrigued me how people with kids deal with this industry, because it's
hard.
It's a lot of hours, I know it is, and like I said in a laundress spotlight, I'm lucky because my wife stays at home, so it's easy for me. But especially with you and Shane both being in the car business, how do you make that physically work?
Thankfully, a lot of the Fuse networks, they'll work with my schedules or anything else like that. If I need to leave early or anything else like that, they're pretty open. So it's nice that they care about you and your family. So that was nice. A lot of times with me and Shane working both in the car business, we try to coordinate our schedules and what works for him or what works for me or vice versa, things like that. So we try to balance it all out and try to make
I'm
it
sure
work.
that took a little bit of working out there, right?
It was very hard at times.
Especially with him when he got promoted to being a manager, I'm sure that made it even worse.
Working till 9. Well, that's when we were open till 9, so he wouldn't get home till like 10, 11 maybe. So it was just like we really didn't get to see each other, but we try to make it work. Like when he is off or weekends, make it all count.
So you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, but what is your relationship like? I know Shane really well.
Yes.
Rachel actually jokes that I talk to him more than she does, which is kind of funny. But you seem like you have a great relationship. Let's talk about how you make that work, because there's no doubt you probably don't see each other that much.
No, we just, like I said, like on weekends or days off, we try to make it work, make it count. We've also tried to talk about like just date nights, just for us to get back to where we used to be and hanging out and things like that, because we do miss each other throughout the week. But what some people don't realize, like when you don't see each other a lot, it just makes you grow fonder of each other.
Correct.
That's how I see it. So it was, we might not see each other, but we text all the time, we'll FaceTime. Even if he's at work, we just try to have that communication open. So it's nice that we do that together.
Yeah, I think this is a very unique industry for relationships.
It's hard.
I've been in the car business for 18 years nearly, and the amount of divorces and breakups I've seen, because trying to balance that personal versus work life is really difficult in this industry. Even back when I back in the UK, they're open 7 days a week, so it's even worse. Like here, the difference is you get Sundays off.
But then
There,
you've got like
they
your
don't-
laundry, your house chores,
you don't
and all
get
that.
a day off. So it's really tough. Well, you do get a day off. That's not true. But the problem is with the car business is even the schedule is one thing, but whether you have to work it is a different matter. It's always intrigued me. Again, I felt I'm pretty lucky in the area that I've got that we were able to have Ashley stay at home. But I've just always sat there and thought, especially with you and Shane, knowing you're both in the industry,
Right.
I'm like, how in the world do they even make that work?
I mean, like a lot of my friends, like their wives are also just, they don't work in the car business too, but I'm like, they're making money to support you and your family so you can have the life that you guys have. You just have to balance it out between date nights or communication or just random stupid little texts like, hey, I think you're cute today. Hey, you looked good today. You have to keep that open and just keep it spontaneous and just keep trying different things to make it all work, and it'll work out eventually.
So if you were to give some marital advice, then you think it's, and I'm going to touch on my opinion of it. We're getting totally off the car business, by the way. But would you say that it is really something that you have to work on? You can't just let it be?
You have to work on it. And I know for the car industry is mostly men. So for a woman to have her boyfriend or husband in the car business, they get scared. Like, oh, well, something's going to happen. That's the biggest people say, like, oh, he's going to do something. Like, that's not happening. It doesn't happen very often. You just have to make it work and make it better.
Yeah, people always say that, but it's kind of funny. And this has always been the case no matter where I've worked, or even, and I'm not just saying my wife, there's always this fallacy that men in the car business are going to cheat, but they're surrounded by males.
Men! So like they can't.
It kind of makes me laugh a little bit because they're like, oh yeah, they're going to cheat. With who? Because
They're
it's
going to go
all
to the other
men.
side? I don't know.
Unless they decide, which I'm open, whatever, it's up to you. Unless they like the same sex, it is probably 95% male in this industry.
It is. So it doesn't happen. I'm like,
Yeah.
stop, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
They're fine,
you're
I promise.
surrounded by guys all the time.
Yes. As long as you guys work on your marriage, and both of you, not just one party works on your marriage, it'll work. Yeah. You just have to keep trying and don't give up so easy.
Yeah, one thing I would say, and I was going to touch on it, is I believe you have to work on it. Because I think the ones that make it, when it goes stale, is the ones that just let it be and don't ever communicate and don't ever try stuff. A lot of people always say, oh, well, you're always working on it. Well, I think that's a good thing rather than a bad thing, because if you just let it be, it's going to end up going.
Just give up.
Yeah, it's going to go in a direction. Okay, so let's get off personal life a little bit. So then you were at Kia. Let me see if that. Yeah,
Kia, and then I went to the call center right after I had Grayson.
And how old's Grayson?
Grayson just turned a year in February.
And you're no longer having. And
I don't have a baby anymore.
And you got a 3, nearly 4-year-old, right?
Yes, Emma.
Okay. Are you done?
Yes.
Shane
and no.
says no.
Shane
right?
would had it like 2 years ago, but the second pregnancy was really hard on me and kind of still is. So I don't know if I really want to jump into another baby just right now, at least anyway. Plus, he wants to get a new house and things like that, and it's just not a good time right now.
Well, let's talk about that. You sold your house, right?
We did. We sold our house, yes.
And you are temporary renting until the housing market settles?
Well, now I think we convinced each other that we want to build our dream home so we don't have to worry about anything else and things like that. So that takes up to 10 months to a year.
Are you going with a company or are you going custom?
I think a company, but we really haven't decided yet. We're trying to figure out other things first. But
I have no say in it whatsoever, but if I can give you some advice, I would probably go down the custom range, because the problem, I built mine with a company, and the problem is your hands are tied a little bit, and when they are building so many houses, the quality isn't quite as good as you would hope. And to be honest with you, from the research I've done, it's not much difference in price either, because the supplies are still there. It's still the same. So if you are going to do that, I would recommend it, because we built our house, our dream house, and now we're looking to move again because it just isn't really what we really want.
This will be our first time, because the first house that we just sold was our marriage house that we got. We had our 2 kids in, and now we just need something bigger. So we're just looking at what's out there for our opportunities and what's smart for us in the future, in the long run.
I think you did a good thing selling and waiting a little bit because cars and market's nuts right now, which is crazy.
Crazy,
Same
yes.
as the cars. So let's jump back to the dealership. You left Kia. Was there a specific reason you left Kia, or was it a promotion opportunity? What was the situation there?
So I left Kia because I went on maternity leave. Like I said, I had Grayson, and then Feinstein told me that there was opportunity for me to run the call center because I guess the girl that was there before wasn't doing it, and he knew that I could do it, and a lot of people recommended me for the position, so I went ahead and took that one.
Okay. How long were you at the call center for?
Almost a year.
Okay. And then they liquidated that, basically?
Yes. They closed that department down not too long ago because I guess it wasn't working for the company.
What was it, October last year?
I think so, yeah. Almost the end of November, I think.
Yeah. Because basically what happened is then Rachel's name got brought up in a general management meeting. I was like, well, I have an opportunity. And I had the opportunity to go to either Chevy or me, and you chose Ford.
I chose Ford, yes.
Let's talk about that real quick. What was it that really brought you here rather than to Chevy? I'm not necessarily saying anything's wrong with Chevy, but what was it specifically?
Really good. Well, I knew you. I've worked with you in the past, so I knew that we could work.
Even though I'd let you go.
Correct. Yeah, I'll let that go. But we worked together in the past, and I loved working with you. I've never had an issue. And then I knew other people here, so I felt more a little comfortable here. And plus, my kids' schools are right down the street, so if anything does happen, it's not a 20, 30-minute drive to go get them if something did happen. So that was a main key thing, too. And I love Ford, so.
That was going to be my next thing. Was there anything on the Ford side?
Yes. I really want an Expedition, just so Shane knows.
Shane, that's a plug.
So, it's just the brand is really nice.
Well, you can have D-Plan now.
Right, so it's nice. Well, the thing is, I just got my 4Runner in October.
Did you lease it?
That doesn't mean anything. Yes, I did.
Oh, well then. I guess we're going to have to wait.
Right. We'll see about waiting.
Oh, I really hope Shane watches this.
We'll just tag him in it.
Yeah, we'll hashtag Shane in this one. So he's forced to watch it. That's funny. So you like the brand. You came out here a couple of reasons. You knew people. How's things going here, do you feel?
I love it. I think I'm growing. I think I'm getting used to what I'm doing now because it's been over a year that I've done the BDC from this side of a management thing. So it's just getting the hang of it and things like that, and the brand and the product knowledge and things like that.
Yeah. Your role is a little different to what you used to doing because when you was a BDC at Kia or Nissan, let's say, you would actually
beginning to end. Pretty much.
You straight from the customer, but now you're really doing more of a monitoring what's going on rather than physically talking to the customer.
Keywords of trying to get the customers in the door, phrases. And things like
which out of the two, which ones do you prefer? Do you prefer dealing with just customers and then taking it all the way to a sell, or do you prefer managing?
I prefer managing. It's a little easier than trying to get I feel like beginning to end, I did the whole deal.
Yeah.
And didn't really get anything for it. And then I just handed it to a salesperson. Hey, they're looking at this stock number, this payment, the credit's already in.
Yeah.
Here's your test drive, sign the papers and go. So this way I can actually show others how I did it to make them grow and things like that.
So let's touch on that. I was hoping you were going to say that's what kind of I was walking down there. So you get a kick out of actually helping others rather than you just physically doing it.
I love helping others, yes.
That's kind of what I figured. And that's, to be honest with you, one of the reasons why I noticed that way back when in Nissan that because even when you were there, even though you weren't specifically the lead person, were you?
Jessica was.
There was, in fact, at most times I went back there, you were always over at someone else's desk helping them to figure out how to get them in.
Yep.
So I knew that was something that was going to be good. Aspirations for the future, any? Or are you just happy to? Just
happy where life is right now, and wherever it goes, it goes. I do want to better myself, so I'm just digging harder of how to make that my dream come true. Okay,
Shane, just like you again, you're the one that's going to have to go and become a GM to get all the money. No pressure or anything.
No, not at all.
Okay, well, I think that's about covered everything on the dealership side and probably the personal life too. So if there's anything you want to say to the people at home? I know Shane's watching.
Hi. No.
Expedition. Platinum.
Right. Don't be scared of the car business. Some people sound like, oh, it's so scary, I'm not going to be able to do it. It's hard. It's really not. It's really easy. Just be friendly. Customers want to come to you, and especially for females, I think it's a plus Because most women, when they want to buy a car, they don't want to do it with a man because they'll feel pressured. So if you're a female in the business, you actually have that leg up.
Yep, absolutely.
That customers are like, oh, she's super friendly, she won't pressure me, and it actually works. So being cute and a girl helps.
And that's why, to be honest with you, if you come to our dealership, you'll notice everywhere I've been, and anyone who's worked with me, I have a very diverse showroom by design. It's not just because I happen to have that way, because people buy from people they like, and it's better to have all diverse, different sexes and also backgrounds. I think it helps out a lot. So, well, thanks for watching. Thanks, Rachel, for joining me. And as always, over at Lou Fuse Ford, we can replace the car, but not the customer. And we'll see you all next week.